Yo, yo, beautiful people. I just decided that I am going to have to speak on this Gayle King and Lisa Leslie and Kobe Bryant interview situation. This was a mess. It was a whole mess. It didn't have to be that way, but it was. And the fallout is a mess. The whole thing is a mess. And even though it's a mess, I'm the type of person to where I feel like there is a lesson in all things. There is a lesson in all things bad. And we just gonna get around to that lesson at the end of this, but just bear with me because I gotta put my own thoughts into full context. Um, I've been definitely thinking about trying to like start a little podcast or something, YouTube videos. I didn't know how I wanted to roll this out and honestly still kind of thinking about it, but this I just had to comment on this. Like this is just on my heart. It's been on my heart to speak out on things that, you know, just bother me or things that I feel like we can do better as a community. And when I say community, I'm definitely for my people all day long, but at the same time when I say community, I'm literally talking about everybody. Like we all have a responsibility to this nation, to this country, to this world, to your community, to your local one, to your school, to everything. So I just want to be a voice of reason for some people, but then also want to just kind of bring everybody together so we can all kind of at least learn a lesson from all this chaos and just become better people. Because I'm just, Jesus, I listen to response videos from, other vloggers and other bloggers and stuff like that. And if I'm honest, sometimes I feel like it just feeds the monster, and I just can't feed the monster. That's not my mo. That's not what I'm about. It's not how my mama raised me, if you know how they say that. But at the same time, I do still see stuff for how it is, and I still feel I'm still human. I still got reactions. I am, I'm kind when I can be, but I definitely have real emotions and feelings about stuff too. So some of my stuff gonna be raw. Some of my stuff going to be, stuff I probably can't do or say in the church. Some of this stuff my mama might not approve of. But at the end of the day, she know my heart and she understands my passion and she understands her daughter. So at the end of the day, I am just gonna be me on this podcast. Just gonna be me on this videos, and like it or love it. You love it, stay tuned. If you don't like it, should tell somebody. Tell somebody you don't like it so that they can listen in, because I want some more people listening in. You know what I'm saying? So, this is how it all started. Wednesday night, my friend called me, and she was just kind of really irate. Well, upset. I don't want to say irate because that sounds crazy. She ain't crazy. She was rightfully so upset about this video that she had just seen. She sent it to me in my messenger. We exchange videos all the time and we talk about them. Well, she sent this to me, but before I could even like look at it, she just gave me every bit of her thoughts about it, and she went off. I mean, was going off. And once she got done going off, I was like, okay, let me listen to the video and find out what's going on, because this sounds crazy. So I got on the video, and good Lord, if I'm honest, I listened to the Gayle King snippet. It was just a small snippet. It was like a minute and 30 something seconds. And oh, goodness. Like, I mean, from that minute and 30 something seconds, I I couldn't have been Leslie. I couldn't have. I ain't even gonna lie. She handled that interview way better than I would have handled it, because I jumped out of my seat on the video and just started like saying a few words that, I'm sure my mom wouldn't be happy about. But I was taken all the way back by the level of disrespect that I seen on that video. And I was just like, as Kobe's friend, I was just like, Kobe, Leslie is handling this way better than I could have. I could just imagine myself being in that interview and someone was asking me about my friend and like kind of played me out in the interview. And I'm like, yeah, she wouldn't have got very nice Leslie actions from me. I'm just being honest. She just wouldn't have. So I'm going to play the video. Well, let you all listen to the video, audio, and I'll come back to discuss it.
Complicated because of sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time. Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, please go get that girl or tell her or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Kobe's, he was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. I just don't believe that. And I'm not saying things didn't happen. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force.
Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful. At this time, it's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, with the cases, it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify. So it was dismissed.
And I think that's how we should leave it.
Start making what's called the death rattle.
So I'm sure y'all heard that. That was a hot mess. But I knew just from listening to that video that this was going to be, top thing that everybody was going to be talking about the next day. I was just like, oh, Lord. Gayle has opened up a can and, like, they going to be talking about this on the radio. I watch The Real and The View pretty much daily, and I just knew they was going to be talking about it. Granted, I was wrong. They didn't talk about it. But it was on most of the radio stations here in Atlanta. But then they also was, a bunch of reaction videos all over social media, like immediately. That's one thing that I saw when I saw the video the night before. Because I was just like, okay, let me see this in full context. And I don't know. So the reaction videos were, I mean, if I'm honest, the reaction videos were, Jesus, they went all the way in. And I can't say, even though they chose words that I just wouldn't have chose at all, I can't say that I didn't understand their frustration. And their frustration was with what was on that video. And it just seemed like a full lack of respect for this man, this man's family, this man's friends, this man's fans, everyone grieving this person. Like, the interview just seemed so dismissive of people's grief and just all around lack of respect, lack of empathy, lack of everything, regardless of how you feel about it. So I understood the reaction videos, even though I don't talk like that. I definitely don't think men should be talking about women like that. Don't get me wrong when I say that, but it's like, I can understand the frustration of these guys, especially if they knew him, especially if they were cool with him. Like, I couldn't promise if Gayle wasn't talking about my friend, I would have called her all kinds of names that day too. But That was wrong. I ain't gonna lie like it's right. It was 100% wrong. But later on Thursday, after I finally got to work, I actually had listened to Gayle's response video that came out that said that all of this had been taken out of context and she was really, really upset with CBS for releasing this snippet without releasing the full context, the whole interview. And pretty much her response was that she was angry too. When she listened to the 1 minute and 30 something second snippet, she was upset too, because just based on that snippet, it was a hot mess. Based on that snippet, you couldn't tell what her true intent was, and honestly, her true intent sounded kind of really messed up. And like really, really disrespectful to be talking to Leslie like that. But then also just disrespectful just to be bringing that up to his friend before they even put him in the ground. So it was just a messed up overall situation. But she's just flat out. She was like, I talked to Leslie last night and Leslie was okay. She thought that the interview went well. She said, I thought that the interview went well. I guess she thought that her purpose in doing the entire interview came off to the audience, but I guess she came to find out that they released just a small bit and the media went with that. Well, this is where I'm going to have to start talking about responsibility, because pretty much Gayle was saying that she's upset because everything that she said was taken out of context. Well, even with it, because the video was not edited in a way where it's like, okay, I chopped and screwed it and I, put a piece here and put a piece there and made it sound way worse than it was. Like, this was a video you could see, no chop and screw, and you're looking at it, and Gayle was asking questions over and over, digging in after Leslie kind of was just like, chill out. She dug in further. And that didn't have to happen. But I could tell she was playing devil's advocate in that moment. And to me, this is what Gayle put on foot in her own mouth and kind of set herself up for all of this criticism. In my opinion, she didn't have to even... There was a proper way to tell the media to stop bringing up this man's dismissed case that y'all could have brought up all these years before he passed away. There was a better way to put that message out there besides playing devil's advocate and being real sloppy in this interview and setting yourself up, because at the end of the day, that's what you did. And some people don't believe your response video, but I do believe that you didn't have any bad intents. When you look at the entire video, she started off being like, I came in the house with Leslie and we was talking about this man's legacy and all of his accomplishments and all the good things about him, and that's really what I wanted it to be about. And she was just like, I only brought up the whole rape allegation case thing because that was something big that happened during his lifetime, and it would be very dishonest of me to not bring that up. But at the same time, she brought it up in the worst way and didn't redirect that conversation to end it real quick. Instead, she dug in and just dug herself a bigger hole. But her goal was to bring it up and nip it in the bud. And Leslie was the perfect person to nip it in the bud in the best way possible and pretty much say, okay, this case never got anywhere a long time ago. The media had so much time. The victim had so much time. All these critics on social media, everybody who feels a certain way, had so much time while this man was alive to talk about this case to, whatever they was planning on doing, whatever they're trying to do now after his death. They had time to do that and they didn't do it. And at this point, it's just not the time to do that. And whatever died a long time ago, it just need to stay dead. That was her point. And that's what Leslie told her. Gayle accepted the answer and was done with it. Like her mission was done, so she thought. But it was sloppy and it was wrong and she shouldn't have did it that way. And you just don't play devil's advocate with a dead man that people are still grieving is not even down like 6 feet under yet. I'm sorry, you just don't do that. And I cannot say that I don't believe her. I do believe her response video. I believe her response video because we in an age now where people don't want to see the full context of anything. Like, I've just seen this before recently. Like, people, they doing everything is clickbait. Everything is, we see a small video and just be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he said that. And, just thinking everybody's bad. And the truth is, the world is not as bad as we assume that it is. People aren't as bad as we assume that it is. And when you see stuff, honestly, people need to start listening for context. If somebody says something crazy that I can't believe he said that. Oh, well, what was he really trying to say? Because let's be honest, everybody don't know how to communicate. I ain't that great at it, but, and I'm sure I don't say stuff right all the time, but, all you have to do is ask, or I'm going to try to give you full context. But it's like when you listening to something and it sounds crazy, click on the full video. People don't do that no more. They just want to hear something simple, and if it feeds whatever they want to think or whatever, they just go with it and share it and, make reaction videos and just do the most crazy stuff. And it's really annoying. It's really, really, really annoying to watch it unfold the way that it does, especially when people don't have bad intent. So the people that I've seen this happen to, for one, is Lonnie Love. Lonnie Love on the real got dragged and is still currently being dragged for making a comment about something about black men can't carry out successful love, relationships. I'm pretty much trying to say black men cheat. That was what was touted. That's what all the media people picked up on. They talked about it on all the radio stations. They talked about it everywhere you can think of, and they just used a snippet of what she said on the reel, but did not try to take what she was saying in full context at all. It was a full interview about how she felt about Joe Budden's words about Kevin Hart actions, and Kevin Hart gave his actions reasons as well. So it's like Joe Budden was talking about what Kevin Hart said, and then Lonnie Love was also talking about what Joe Budden said as far as working and the black man having to work so hard to where he don't necessarily focus on family as much as he should. And that's true. That's almost true in most circumstances, but that's true. And she wasn't trying to say all black men are bad. She wasn't trying to say anything like that. She honestly was trying to take up for Kevin Hart. She was honestly trying to take up for, the black man in general, but definitely, Joe Budden. She was trying to show a little understanding. She did it in the sloppiest way possible. And when I say sloppiest way possible, she didn't think that through that much, and she just put it out there, and people ate her up for it, and people still eating her up for it, and they doing it in the worst way. You got people getting upset about the current relationship that she's in. She's in an interracial relationship. They're just like, oh, well, she feels this way about black men because she's with a white man now. So this 45-plus-year-old lady been with black men all her life, and then all of a sudden she with a white man at 45, and she's not allowed to say anything about her experience knowing all these black dudes her whole life. Anyways, just ridiculous. Then Kanye West. Oh goodness. Kanye West is a hot mess most of the time. But the man is right on a lot of the stuff that he says. Granted, he says it in the sloppiest way possible. What he say? Slavery was a choice. Slavery is a choice. Uh, uh. It's like, come on, dude. He that was out there. That got put out there. He didn't mean it in the way that it came off. He definitely didn't mean it in how they took that snippet and ran with it, took those words and ran with it. Nobody really listened to full context. And the select few people who did listen to it for full context, I mean, they came to the same conclusion that I came to, is that he didn't mean it the way that everybody was running with it. He literally meant it as, hey, we're not in chains no more. Let's not act like it. Like, let's act like we're not in chains no more. And that got a lot of stuff with it too. You got psychological stuff. Yeah, you may not be in, physical bondage, but some people are. But you probably, like, it's a psychological bondage. It's definitely a systematic bondage. But at the same time, he had a message, and the message was, hey, let's do what we got to do to become more free. Let's do what we got to do to, liberate ourselves. We don't have to, always fall victim anymore. Now we can, educate ourselves, learn a little more, and learn how to get the heck up out of, all of this oppression. Like, yeah, it ain't gonna be no overnight thing, because black folks ain't a monolith. Like, you can't just put a message out there and say it's black folks and then all the black folks gonna eat it up. No, they not. Like, I really wish black folks would stop thinking it. Well, all people, period, would stop thinking that black people are all the same. We're not all the same. But when Kanye West said what he said, he literally was not trying to say that people back in the day came over here on boats by choice. He wasn't trying to say that people was out in the field picking cotton by choice. He was not trying to say none of that stuff. And it's like, why would you even think he was trying to say that stuff? Like, if you actually listen to the thing in full context, you'll get what he was trying to say very sloppily. So in my opinion, Lonnie, Gayle, Kanye West all have a responsibility as somebody who has a lot of listeners, someone in the media, someone who has followers. I think that they should be way more responsible in how they're putting messages out there, because there is a way better way to tell people, put your message out there. There's a better way to handle situations. There's a better way to reach your audience. And these people are being just ridiculously irresponsible. And as far as the audience, I'm not even going to let us get off the hook for this, because it's like, when you hear something like slavery was a choice, or all black men cheat, or, Kobe was a rapist, and all this other stuff, it's just like, uh, let's not be so quick to not, I mean, especially if the video is short, especially if the comment is short. Like, let's not be so quick to just believe what was put out there, because at this point, who don't know the clickbait is out there? At this point, who don't know the short, out of context videos are out there? Reality TV has been out for a long time, and if anybody learned anything from reality TV, everything is a edited version of something, for drama, for likes, for all kinds of attention. And so it's just like, we just need to start doing our due diligence and start actually reading for context, looking at the full video for context. If you don't got time, okay, don't post no reaction video if you didn't have time to look at the full context. Like, we just got to be more responsible as well. And this whole cancel culture that comes from these snippet videos that people get all upset about and just pass around their reactions to it, cancel culture is a hot mess that needs to be cut out too. But that comes from this clickbait culture that everybody's so quick to no, don't ever want to hear from you. Don't ever want you to make another dime in your lifetime just because they got upset about a minute and 30 something second video. Like the stuff that people saying about Gayle is really crazy because a woman is really, really, really talented, and I don't like that people are dragging her so hard. But at the same time, it's just like, Gayle, if you don't want to be dragged, don't be so irresponsible in your job as well. The last thing I gotta say is most people aren't bad and evil as social media makes them out to be. People, all people have stories, and they typically have an intent, and we just need to start listening for intent. If something sounds too outrageous, there's probably a reason. Find that reason. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on the Gayle controversy. This is my first video. I will be making some more. I'm still learning how to edit videos and stuff like that, but I'm definitely trying to come out with a podcast. So if you would like to hear more from me, more from, more point of views, hell, if you got questions about this one, just write me in my comments, send me a messenger, however you want to do it. But just let's just keep this thing going. Thanks for tuning in.